go.
All right, it is week 15, which means we are down to the final four, and it's an original final four. 4 BL originals, and one of them, Zach, he's flaked out at the last minute. But 3 of the 4 finalists are here.
Let me say something quickly about Zach not being here. Zach is just too scared to show his face because he knows I'm going to just spin the dreidel and beat him this week. And I'm going to be moving on to my first BL championship. And he wants to hide and not show his face to the league because he knows deep down inside that he is done for.
Dreidels keep on spinning into the title match.
I digress.
They've been spinning real tight for like the past month or so. I remember when he made the switch from Team Nano Bubbles to Dreidel Jake, and he lost like 2 games in a row. But then, the Dreidel started spinning, picking up speed, and now he's rolling. You don't want to face the Dreidel now.
That was a game changer.
All right, let's look at what happened before we get into the matchups this week, the semifinal matchups. Quick look back on what transpired in Week 14 in Round 1 of the playoffs, a wild card round, I guess you could call it. It was Team Toolan taking down Team Arsh by a score of 98.6 to 82.5. Todd Gurley, Team Arsh's high score of 26, and Bortles leading the way for Toolan to victory with 25.7 points of his own. And Andre taking down Queller, 113 to 84. Jake had the Panthers D leading the way with 23, while Queller had Doug Baldwin leading the way with 26. But it wasn't enough, and one of the most heartbreaking fantasy losses you might be able to say. Just Andy Dalton hurt before he could pick up any points. And Eifert goes down, and I'm sorry, Queller, but that's a car crash for you. And yeah, I mean, how did you guys both feel about your wins, Jake? I know you put up 113. That was a pretty impressive performance. Do you think it's time people start taking you seriously here as a title contender?
I mean, I would say, no offense to you, Glenn, but I would say yes if I ran into you and I didn't run into Gropper in this next round. Because I honestly think our match would have a better chance of being closer than me and Gropper. I mean, as much as I want to say I'm a contender, and I still do believe that I can do it, because I got Michael Floyd and John Brown going against terrible pass defenses, and I have Lamar Miller going against the Giants, and who's Cam going against?
The Panthers going against the Giants, who are 32nd against the pass, I think, or something pretty bad.
Yeah,
along those lines. They're secondary.
Yeah, I mean, I have a chance, but I think my 113-point performance should get me some attention, for sure.
Yes, and Toolan, you had a good performance of your own, just under 100 points. I mean, we were just kind of chatting before we started the podcast. I mean, you have a good showing. Unfortunately, you lose Thomas Rawls. Spencer Ware now not practicing this week. You do pick up Denard Robinson. I mean, does that hurt your confidence a little bit going into a semifinals matchup with the Bandits?
Yeah, I'm a little worried. I was still impressed with my team putting up almost 100 points and only getting, I think Rawls only played for 8 minutes before he got hurt, and then Spencer Ware got hurt pretty early in the second quarter. I mean, to be able to put up, 99, I think, my team has a little bit of firepower. I'm obviously like the clear underdog, but I mean, I don't know, the Chiefs D has really stepped it up as of late. I think they're like they're probably the second best defense special teams like right now. Jordan Reed's picking it up. I dropped Brandon McManus, and I picked up Chris Boswell, the Steelers kicker. Look out. He's got 5 consecutive weeks of double-digit points. So
for the Boz coming up.
Kind of my ace in the hole over there. Look
Yeah,
out.
and putting up also almost 100 points, not only with those 2 injuries, but also with Des Bryant, who has just kind of gone into a fantasy football black hole with Matt Castle as his quarterback, only putting up 9 decimal points. So,
I'm
yeah, you
probably
got to feel
he's going to be on my bench. I mean, when you look at my
really.
bench, I'm going to have like 4 of my keepers aren't going to be playing between him, Andrew Luck, Keenan Allen, and Marshawn Lynch. Like all 4 of those guys are going to be riding the bench this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a keeper on to Emmanuel Sanders. I have the same problem.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's a weird situation out there in Denver. We'll see. So looking forward here to these 2 semi-final matchups, excuse me. Jake, we'll talk about your matchup first. Grop's not here. Grop is projected to beat you. He's favored by a little over 10.5 points. He's projected for 107 to your 96. And I got to say, we were talking about this too a little bit. And while Grop is definitely the clear favorite, no doubt about that, as this loads here. Gropper's got some interesting kind of, maybe it's a little tougher for him on the surface than you might think when you look at Odell Beckham Jr. having Josh Norman to deal with this week. DeAndre Hopkins, Indianapolis secondary is pretty bad, but TJ Yates throwing the ball, how will that affect him? And then Julio Jones, he hasn't been able to really get it going. It's been a while since he got in the end zone. Since week 8, actually, in Tampa Bay was the last time he scored. With Matt Ryan struggling, how does that play in? And also, Greg Olsen, a little hobbled, banged up. You still think he'd have a good day against the Giants.
Yeah.
I think that, and you have some decent matchups, too. Miller versus San Diego, really good. Newton versus the Giants, there's potential there to go off. And obviously it kind of nullifies an Olsen touchdown if he catches it from Newton. It's kind of a wash, almost, on Grop's part. And, Floyd and John Brown, we talked about, have good matchups. Jeremy Maclin, too, against Baltimore's secondary. That's another pretty good matchup. So I think there is definitely some potential here for you to get Grop on the edge of his seat, I would think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, I think the wild card for me this weekend is going to be Gary Barnidge in Seattle. Just because that Seattle defense, as we know, they're not what they used to be. So Barnidge has some potential to, all I need for him to do is I need to have him get me anywhere between 6 or more points. If I can get him to get 5 catches for 60 yards, I'll be happy. Because I think Floyd and John Brown are just going to have monster weeks against Philly. And I think Cam Newton, as long as he doesn't go too off, like he did last week against Atlanta, he had that huge first half, and he played 2.5 quarters. I mean, he played more, but he didn't throw the ball. He threw the ball, I think, maybe 10 times, maybe in the entire second half, and none of them were for touchdowns. So, all in all, I think I have a shot, but I'm definitely the underdog this week against Scrapper.
Yeah, Toolan, what do you think here? Do you think Andre has a shot to keep the Hanukkah miracle alive?
Keep the Dreidels spinning. I actually think he has a chance. I'm not gonna pick him to win, but if you're gonna, what's the spread? There's 10.8. I think I'm taking him plus 10. I think the key is he needs an absolute barn burner in Philly this weekend because he needs touchdowns from Michael Floyd and John Brown. Hopefully, Cardinals put up a ton of points, and the Eagles are trailing, and you're going to see a lot of Sproles, who's kind of emerged as the running back to own for the Eagles. I don't know if it really means much, but he could be a solid RB2 for Jake. And Newton's going to put up his 20 plus like he always does. Miller's been hot. And then when you look at Grop's matchups, I know Glenn, you were talking about this before we started the podcast, but Odell Beckham Jr.'s got to go up against Josh Norman, who he is by far the best like cover corner in the NFL right now. Like I watched him play a couple of times. I mean, he reminds me of like Revis like 3-4 years ago in his prime. Like he's just shutting people down. I mean, Beckham's on a tear right now. I think it'll be a great matchup, but I don't see Beckham going off for like the 20 points he's been doing. You guys both mentioned that Julio Jones has been struggling. Just the Falcons in general have been struggling. Hasn't scored a touchdown since week 8. I mean, I'm picking Gropp to win, but I think this matchup could actually be closer than what Carmel's thinking. I'm taking Carmel plus 10.8.
I think Andre has a chance.
Yeah.
That's how I would put it. For sure. Jake, are you going to go with Gropp, or are you going to take yourself here?
If we're going on the spread, I'm taking myself plus 10.
Yeah.
There you go. Betting on the spread. ATS. Cardinals pick.
But just because of how cold I was in gambling until I recently quit for now, I'm going to take Gropper because if I was gambling, I would definitely throw money on Gropper and hope I win.
Yeah, just the good old reverse jinx like I try to do for everything, which never works anymore. I think I ran out of my reverse jinxes like years ago. I try it too much. I screwed the Bears over with it like the last 2 weeks. I'm out of juice. I'm out of the jinx juice. So, what were you going to say?
You need a refill of the jinx juice.
I know. I just need to, I don't know, man. I need something. I need something from the gods here.
I hope you just used it too early with Jeremy Hill early in the year. You just you ran the jinx juice well dry, and now you're in trouble.
And now if I don't have the reverse jinx, what do I have? That's my go-to. All right. Looking at Toolan and my matchup here, it'll be myself rolling out Carson Palmer, Adrian Peterson, LaShawn McCoy, Brandon Marshall, AJ Green, and currently Austin Seferian-Jenkins, who has nothing going on for him, but down 21-3, maybe something gets going. In the flex, I really don't know. I stuck Bryce Brown in there just because that was when I didn't even know they signed Christine Michael, and I just figured versus Cleveland it would be the best matchup. But I don't know. I might have to go with Matthews over something on the goal line. That's a conundrum that I did not think I was going to have to deal with if you would have asked me 3-4 weeks ago. The Broncos defense going against Pittsburgh, I'm going to still stick with them. They're the best defense in football. And Cairo El Bandito Santos. For Toolan, it'll be Blake Bortles. Tim Hightower, who, my God, he's back to life. I thought he might have been dead. Denard Robinson, who's assuming starting duties for Jacksonville if Yeldon cannot go. He has not practiced. Brandon Cooks in his wide receiver 1 slot. Tyler Lockett, a sneaky wide receiver 2, play against Cleveland possibly. Jordan Reed, who when he's healthy, we know he can be pretty good. Michael Crabtree in the flex, the Chiefs D, and Chris Boswell against the Broncos. So I'll throw it to the neutral party first. Jake, you're the neutral party here out of the three of us, and I'll let you give your take.
I'm going to take the Bandits. I think there's too much firepower. I mean, you got Carson Palmer, who's probably going to be in the running for the MVP. He'll finish top 2 or 3 in voting. Brandon Marshall, AJ Green, AP, and LaShawn McCoy. I don't know how you recover. If any of them have an average week, you're still probably going to score 99 to 110 points.
Yeah, that was the big thing that's happened ever since I got Green, and I got him right at the right time, too. He was really not doing well scoring-wise. And I got him, and now he's, especially with Eifert kind of been injured, he gets all the red zone targets. He's just eating them up. Like the last few weeks, I've gotten nothing out of my flex from Murray, just a couple points each week. The Broncos D hasn't been as fantastic as usual, except for versus San Diego. But if you just look at my lineup, those top 5 guys, if they all perform, that's my core and they're going to pretty much carry me. That's why I'm a little worried about Austin Safarian-Jenkins not doing anything, but I'm still thinking that I believe that as long as the Broncos, he doesn't get shredded by Pittsburgh, my flex at least puts up, a handful of points that I think my top 5 guys all have somewhat decent matchups. Unfortunately, I have to hope AP just runs all over the Bears, which sucks. I think Palmer's going to have a big night in Philly. I think I'm going to be all right. Toolan does scare me a little bit, just the potential I think that Bortles and Denard Robinson could have to go off, and if Lockett all of a sudden catches a touchdown and Crabtree, there is definitely some potential for an upset here in my opinion. I'm a little worried, I'm not going to lie. Toolan, do you agree that I think, a few things bounce your way, and I think that you could be in the driver's seat possibly?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little more confident with Austin Safarian-Jenkins not having a catch to this point. I really, the Chiefs' defense, man, I think they've had 14 or more points like four of the past 5 weeks, and they're playing Baltimore, whose offense is filled with second-string guys. I think I can get a lot of points out of them. Chris Boswell, my kicker, man, I'm confident. I feel like it's one of those things where I can just get like that fluky 25 to 30 points out of my defense and kicker, and all of a sudden I'm like right there.
That's one thing I didn't even mention. The Chiefs' D scares me too. The Ravens, they're utterly hopeless offensively, and especially,
give me Clausen.
Especially if Clausen plays. Your floor is 8 to 12 points. That's your floor for that defense.
I know.
Things could really get out of control there. A pick six. Next thing you know, you got 20 points on the board from your defense. Who knows? Could be kind of scary.
Yeah, and then you mentioned Tyler Lockett. I think he has more upside than Dez at this point. I'm not. If I'm going to lose, losing, only putting up 60 points versus losing by a couple points is the same to me. I'm going to throw out the home run hitters, someone who can get me 20 points. I feel like Tyler Lockett can do that with the way how Russell Wilson's been playing of late.
The wide receivers just turning into fantasy studs out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then you mentioned Bortles and Denard Robinson. The Jags have been putting up a ton of points. I'm hoping I can get big numbers out of them. Tim Hightower got 28 carries last week. It looks like he is now the Saints' workhorse. So he's going to get plenty of touches. I should get production out of him. I think this will be a close matchup. I think it'll be closer than what Carmel and Gropp have. And I've been so fortunate and so lucky this year. I can't help. I got to pick myself.
All right, there you go.
I got to do it.
All right, Bandits go down early. One and done Bandits. That would be. I got to tell you, if I lose, I can deal with definitely the way this year's gone and how I put up 100 most every week. I can deal with getting there and losing to Gropp. If I lost in the semis, though, one and done the playoffs, I'm not going to lie, I might turn into Sheehan and take a long walk to the lake and just leave the group for a few days and just be very sad, just cry. I would be very sad if I don't make the title game. But I think
everyone, out of the 4 of us who are left, if any of the 4 of us lose, you would take it the worst, without a doubt.
Well, along with Sheehan, clearly. But
just look at my team. Glenn has, he drafted well, and we ripped on him, the Brandon Marshall thing. Look at how well that turned out. He was a buyer at the deadline. He's put together a great team. Look who I'm playing. These are all waiver wire guys. And if Glenn, I'd be in the same way, man. If I was in your shoes, I'd be devastated to lose to a team that is starting Tim Hightower, Denard Robinson, Tyler Lockett.
It really is just another team. It would be really disappointing. We'll have to see. I think you have a chance. I'm definitely not sitting over here being cocky. If Austin Safarian-Jenkins can get into the end zone on maybe some garbage time, I'll feel pretty good. We'll just have to see, man. As the Buccaneers are driving, so maybe here's my chance. But yeah, that was pretty short podcast. Not much to break down here. Well, let's Miggy. What's the Miggy situation looking like before we get out of here? Let's just take a quick look. The consolation ladder.
I don't even pay attention, man.
Yeah, I don't either, but
Is it even worth airtime? I don't know.
Make some Miggy predictions. All right, Bales. Look, I mean, it could be. Could Benny go from first to Miggy? Is that a possibility? I think it might be.
I think he lost last week, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He's facing Bales, who also lost. Bad news. Sheehan has a good chance. Sheehan's playing, Todd Mariani, so I think he's going for it. I think he's looking. So, I don't know. I think if I dropped Cuddy the Bandit, so Sheehan's gonna go get him. You know that. So Cutler's he's gonna have all Bears team against the Vikings in Minnesota. I don't know if I like that for Sheehan. I think he might take the Miggy. That'd be.
No, he doesn't. He has Goskow and Julius Thomas.
Oh, okay. That makes a little more sense. I guess he has at least a couple good guys. We'll see. But I think that about does it for this week.
There's one thing that I wanted to bring up that I thought would be funny is, so if you end up starting Bryce Brown this week, and then they end up, if he gets into he's splitting carries with Christine X Bandit Michael. I mean, I get a real kick out of that if he comes around and he kind of bites you in the ass and steals Bryce Brown's carries.
Yeah,
the ex-Bandit.
I don't even know what the hell I'm going to do there. If Christine Michael does nothing, the ex-Bandit RB1.
I was a believer. I traded for him.
Yeah, you gave
from
me
you.
So eventually I kind of slinged into getting AJ Green out of that. So, yeah, that was a really pivotal move. But, yeah, if Christine Michael all of a sudden just starts averaging 5 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry, steals goal line duties, Bryce Brown only gets 5 carries to Christine Michael's 20. Oh, my God, with that. I almost have to go to the wire and get Christine Michael now and start him.
Yeah, he's out there. He's out there.
He's out there. Yeah, we'll have to see, man. But yeah, guys, good luck to everybody. It's been a hell of a year, regardless of what happens this Sunday. Toolan ours could actually come down to Monday night with Hightower and Cooks. But so that could be a whole other nerve-wracking deal. But yeah, guys, any last words before we scoot on out of here and I yell at my TV over Jenkins?
Over the Rams versus the Bucks.
Yeah, not over the Rams versus the Bucks, over the BL. All right.
I'm just hoping for close matchups. I want it to be an interesting weekend. Hopefully no blowouts, and hopefully everyone stays healthy. There were a lot of injuries last week in the two playoff matchups between Dalton, Eifert, Rawls.
Wow.
Yeah, who else got hurt for me? Spencer Ware, and then Jonathan Stewart got hurt. Yeah, there were a ton of injuries.
Are you guys watching the game, either of you? You just see what just happened? Jenkins had a one-on-one and got wide open, and then Jameis Winston was looking to throw it to him. He's wide open in the end zone, and then they called it delay a game. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, my God. Things are not falling well for the Iran Bandits so far. On that note, I think we'll get on out of here. Good luck, guys. Have a good weekend.
You don't want to say any last words?
What?
You don't want to say any last words?
Oh, my last words is and I ran far away, couldn't get away. All right, that's my last word.
I have to say my last words. My last words are Gropper sucks. He's going down.
1 yard line? Are you kidding me? He caught it at the 1 yard line and went down. What the fuck? So bad.
Live reaction. Bush League playoffs, baby. But my last words are Gropper sucks. And I'm going to leave you all with this. I'm gonna make this my song too. 'Cause I'm gonna run.
If you would have played that, if you caught a touchdown, I would have gone.
Well, only the Bandits run. Or sorry, the Bandits. Yeah, they
Nobody
can
else
run. The Dreidels just spin. You don't run.
Dreidels spin, but the Bandits run.
Fine, then I'm gonna run.
You don't run. Yeah.
If you would have played that, he threw one into the end zone when you started playing that too, and if I would have just lost my mind if he caught a touchdown right when that kicked in.
That would've been- All right, but anyway, Cam Newton is going to go off. The Cardinals wide receivers are going to go off, and I'm going to play this on Sunday or on Monday. I'm going to play this song. I'm going to send it to the group Monday when I land. No, what the hell? This isn't it. God damn
What's
it.
going on, Jake?
Hold on.
The learning station.
Oh my God.
Lost its way.
Out of some clay,
It's the Dreidel song.
I painted on symbols.
Go, Carmel, go.
Put it away.
You can have that. I'll stick with my flock of sheep every day. The best theme song in the league, still by far.
It sure is.
All
All right,
right.
get out of here.
Let's
Let's
get
go Hawks.
Have a good night, guys. Have a good weekend. See you on the
All right.
battle.
Take it easy,
Later.
guys.
Later.
Fuck you guys.